I was sitting on this beach in Port Talbot, and the sun was setting, and it was just covered with coal dust because it's foul. And all I kept thinking was, what would it be like if a guy was sitting here and he had this little radio, and he was picking up all these romantic tunes from somewhere in South America. This grim reality and this romantic, sun-drenched world. It was about a welling up of my frustrations with reality. And that seemed like a good beginning. I wrote it for a younger man, a slimmer man, a better looking guy. I mean, I was often Tom Cruise and all sorts of people. And Jonathan was hassling me, and of course, he was astonishing. Jonathan surprised me every day because he's inventive. There's one moment when Kim Greist, who's playing his dream girl, all these troops have surrounded her, and Jonathan, who's on the run from some other guards, suddenly turns up and he takes charge.
I'll take charge of it now. Good. Good man.
And that's not me directing, that's just Jonathan creating a moment that is brilliant, and it's terrifying and funny.
Classified matter, and I'll include your fine handling of the situation in my report. Great.
Jonathan wants more credit for what he did in Brazil. So this is my moment to give him all the credit he deserves. What was great, and we did it all the way through on every aspect in Brazil, was take what exists and adapt it. We were down in an old mill, and there was all this milling equipment, and we turned that into the Clark's pool. I think the tracking shot was one of the most difficult, because we only have one bit of the Clark's pool, so we got to find a point where somebody can cross the shot to block it, so we then go back to the original same bit and do it again. I don't think I've ever done anything quite as interesting. It's the energy in it, the madness, and it's saying so much about the hustle and bustle, mindless hustle and bustle of bureaucracy. Everything's going on, and then this one little man at the top of the heap with a horizontal striped suit. I remember we were using Croydon Power Station for a lot of the underworkings of the place. And I always wanted to look inside one of those great cooling towers, and we open the door and you go in, and there's this space that is utterly phenomenal. I'd been designing the film to be a series of cubes that got smaller and smaller until you got to the torture chamber. And once I saw the interior of a cooling tower, I said, forget all the plans, throw it out, let's do this.
You okay? Tuttle! Call me Harry.
He was really a huge star then, and the idea of him turning up in a bit part was shocking to an audience.
I came into this game for the action, the excitement. Go anywhere, travel light, get in, get out, wherever there's trouble, a man alone. Now they got the whole country sectioned off. You can't make a move without a form.
He became obsessed about this part and how to get it right, and we had to build a little set for him so he could work with everything. He was going in New York to a friend of his who was a brain surgeon to watch brain surgery. He has a quality, I don't understand it. When he's acting, I don't see what's going on. And he's working there, and I'm right next to the camera. But just being off 2 degrees, you don't see it. The camera sees it, but I couldn't see it half the time. Yeah, there were so many things I didn't like about Hollywood. And so when the studio decided they didn't like our little film, it was like years of frustration with the Hollywood system just burst out. And there was no question that I was going to fight. Most of the time I was absolutely convinced I was going to fail. But what I did have, I suppose, was a certain arrogance and a sense of humor. And I mean, the finest moment for me was Out of Africa is having its premiere. The heads of the studios are there. It's the biggest film of the year for Universal, and it's announced while they're all having their expensive dinner, Best Picture, Brazil, Best Director, Gilliam. And this is the LA critics. They had to release the film. They released it badly, and the film didn't make any money, but it didn't matter. It's out there. It's alive.